I have solved the lore of Piggy Intercity. The Shattered Hope teaser trailer may have only been released about 2 weeks ago, but hidden beneath its surface are a few small secrets that not only tell us where Intercity is heading, but how this entire franchise is going to continue. Spoiler alert, Theo was right all this time. Alright, so Minitoon clearly saw the success and hype that all these teasers bring us, because just 2 weeks ago a new teaser trailer has been released for Piggy Intercity, with more lore, secrets and characters. However, while everybody is focusing on the Infected's new design, I actually noticed something else. Something huge that nobody seems to talk about, and it's about a war, where the capital is involved and where the infected are no longer important and are nothing more than just small obstacles. But before we get there, let's first take a look at everything else. The teaser starts with an emergency alarm playing in the background and with explosives falling. We then get to see a ruined city with rubble all over the streets. It shows how the military is still active and they're still bombing ghost cities. We then get to see an infected, but not the regular infected that we know. I mean, just look at it. This thing looks like a skinwalker. He's extremely skinny, he has long arms, and he's even grown huge claws. And that's not even the most shocking thing because he talks. We can't understand what he's saying yet, as everyone has different opinions about it, such as these ones. However, he does talk. He's trying to say something and it works. But how? How are all these things possible? Well, the answer is pretty simple. The virus inside them has mutated over the years, to the point where they get really skinny because they don't eat anything, and they even start to grow big claws while also having their skin decaying, which is insane because this guy looks pretty scary. But there is something else to notice about this infected. He's trying to get out of this form. The infected from this teaser can be seen going around the streets to the exact location where a cure is, and he tries to get it to cure himself, but something happens and he just goes back to attacking things. And this is weird because in book 2 chapter 5, the school, an infected teacher writes a coded message on one of the boards saying that while infected, she still sees everything that she does. She sees that she's chasing and attacking survivors, but she can't control her actions. Her body isn't letting her. However, this infected does have control of his body, because he was going right to the cure. He knew what he wanted. His body was going to get the cure, but something happened in the last second. So, why all the infected can't control their actions and bodies, but this one can? Well, we don't have an exact answer yet. However, what I believe is happening is simply the time and the virus. Minitoon did confirm that this specific teaser isn't a decade later after book 2's story, meaning that this could be even a few months after our crew got rescued by the military. But as more and more time passes, the infected may be able to somehow also let the mind control its actions, but it's hard to believe such theory due to the lack of evidence. So let me tell you about the virus theory. What are the only ways to get infected? Well, it's either you get attacked by an infected or you drink the virus itself. Mr. P's researchers developed less than 10 of these potions, giving them to specific volunteers in order to see if they work, making them feel strong at first and later aggressive and then fully infected. And this is the potion that he was giving them. As you can see, it's a full Florence flask. Drinking a full bottle of this virus is much more dangerous than simply getting attacked by an infected. Because as Minitoon recently confirmed, the process of getting infected by another infected is this. He attacks you, you get an open wound, and then the infected germs that are on him now get inside your blood cells from the open wound, making you slowly turn infected. the same process that also happened to Zizi. But as you can see, this process, while still a dangerous one because you'll still turn either way, it is much better than drinking an entire bottle of a green glowing substance. So what I believe is that people turning infected because of being attacked are a little bit weaker than the infected that turned because of a potion. And if we also add up time, specifically years into the future, this could also show how the infected with open wounds could slowly regain control, at least at half of their mind. Otherwise, why would he try to grab the potion if his body was fully controlled by the virus? However, that's not the only mystery that people seem to question about this guy, because I've heard tons of theories of how this infected is actually Finley. But let me help all of you with this. It's not Finley. Sure, he does have Finley's exact ears. He may be the same animal as Finley, a fox. You could say he kind of has the same clothes and clothes materials on him as Finley, while his face is a decaying version of the color orange. But the main evidence to show that this is not Finley is simply the fact that Finley was created to play a much bigger role inside Intercity. Minitoon actually did confirm this too, saying that Finley had a small introduction so far, just to connect the Piggy books with Intercity's storyline, and that he will be playing a much bigger role in Intercity. Now, if he was already an infected or even part of the Insolence, I really don't see how he could be such a main character. So I'm telling you, Finley is still alive and surviving a decade later. But enough talk on this subject. We've already talked about the virus, the infected, and even Finley. However, I also want to take a look at what I believe is the most important part of this teaser. The thing that I believe reveals the entire plot of Piggy Intercity. And that is the sound effects. Hold up, let me explain. At the start of the teaser trailer, we can hear some explosions along with an emergency alarm. And nobody thought much about it. I've looked at many videos to see what others think about those explosions, and every single YouTuber that I've watched has said the line, "The military was bombing the city." Everyone believes that those are the sounds of the military bombing this city, a ghost city with barely any infected. While I do agree that this city has been bombed by the military in the past, I do not agree with the theory that those are the explosions going on inside that city, simply because of one key sound: the emergency alarm. Everyone that has a brain knows that these alarms are turned on to warn the people on ground that something is happening. In this case, that the military is starting to bomb the city. However, there is one small issue. There is nobody there, everything is already destroyed. So, who turned on the alarm, and for who? Do you really think that an emergency alarm would activate inside a ghost city? Of course not, you're not alerting anybody, because this city has already been destroyed. It's useless and pointless to do such actions inside a ghost city. You might say that the alarm was happening before the city got destroyed, and this video now shows what happened after the emergency alarm. But I'm not so sure, because Theo already gave us the entire plot of Intercity a long time ago, but we never had enough evidence to back up this theory. In Book 2's Hidden Ending, Theo gets inside our detective's mind once again and says these specific lines.
"I'm trying to save everyone from themselves. Free will is destructive. Free will is what destroyed your world. This cure, many will fight over it, many will lose. What you're doing with this, you're causing another grand war. This time it won't be against the infected, it will be against your own brothers and sisters. You are too oblivious now to foresee the destruction of the future."
And everything that he just said was right. Theo predicted from the start that if somebody develops a working cure, every other country and faction will fight for it. The infected won't be our main enemy anymore. They will be nothing more than small obstacles. And this emergency alarm confirms this theory. This alarm wasn't activated to warn the people in this city before it got bombed, but rather, the alarm has been activated after Sergeant Monroe and its government have reported that they've owned the only cure in the world. We gave them the cure. We left Outpost Echo with that government, and now that they own it, the only working cure, another government has started an invasion, bombing our government in order to either destroy or obtain the cure once and for all. The emergency alarm, that is our alarm. It has been activated by us because we're getting attacked by another government. And in Theo's own words, we're causing another grand war, not with the infected, but with our own brothers and sisters, with other surviving people. Piggy Intercity won't be focusing on the infected and insolent creatures anymore. It will mostly focus on countries, governments, factions, who will have the most power, the most bombs, the most soldiers. Piggy Intercity will be a giant war between survivors, trying to have more influence than others by owning the only cure until they manage to find out how to make more of them. And seeing how the Capital X account posted this picture with a burning city and a flag, it's pretty easy to say that they will be involved in these attacks. We also know a character by the name of FF, which is extremely angry at the government that threw him away, outside the walls, presumably the capital, since in FF's notes, he wrote that he'll get back in those walls someday, and the capital is the only one so far that talks a lot about walls. We already have a rivalry between these factions, so you can see a connection between our theory and the already existing lore of Intercity. That's what our new character will be doing in Intercity. We will need to choose which government we want to align with, and then we'll either defend our country from the invaders, or we will be the ones planning the attacks. But this is just a Piggy theory, an Intercity theory. Let me know in the comments below what do you think about all of this, and what are your theories for the continuation of this franchise. And I'll see you all in the next theory. Thanks for watching.